Hey there, this is Dr. Mort Orman, and today I want to continue our discussion about what we can learn about dealing with stress, mastering stress, and eliminating stress by watching old episodes of the Apprentice TV show. Now, we've already covered a couple key aspects of how the setup of that show and the dynamics of that show actually mimic what it's like for us as human beings to deal with stress in our own life. And in my last video, I talked about a very important part of that show, which is the losing team assembling in the boardroom with 2 or 3 other business executives to do an in-depth root cause analysis to figure out what went wrong, why they ended up in second place instead of first place. And I talked about how important that is and how it relates to what we have to do in our own lives whenever we're experiencing stressful problems, whether they're anxiety problems, other emotional problems, relationship problems, work problems, financial problems, health problems related to stress, whatever it is. We ultimately have to do an in-depth self-evaluation, an in-depth root cause analysis. And there are very few shows on TV that actually demonstrate and provide a role model or role models for how to do that process well. One of the reasons why we aren't very good at it, we don't get a lot of coaching, we don't get a lot of education or modeling of how you go ahead and do that. And that was one of the great things about the Apprentice TV show. It actually modeled right in front of our eyes a group of people, particularly a group of 2 or 3 experienced business executives who had done this a million times, how to do a really good in-depth root cause analysis. And the thing I want to point out today is that if you watch a bunch of those shows and you watch them do different root cause analyses for different episodes, there's one thing that's consistent throughout each and every time they do it. And that's what I want to focus on today. That's the lesson that we can learn from this show today. And the thing that you'll see in that process is there's an absolute, consistent, steadfast commitment to getting down to the truth, to telling the truth at a very deep level, regardless of whether it's popular, regardless of whether people's feelings get hurt, whatever it is. Something happened that caused that team to end up in second place and not in first place. And the purpose of those root cause analysis sessions is for the losing team, with the aid of the experienced business executives, to determine what went wrong. Why didn't they maximize their potential? Why didn't they solve the challenge as well as the next group? And in order to do that, you have to do, as I mentioned, a root cause analysis. But in order to do a root cause analysis and do it well, you have to have a high level of commitment to telling the truth. Now, if you watch these shows, or past episodes of these shows, what you'll see is that in the group of people forming the losing team, there's a wide variation, most likely, every time this is done, in people's willingness to admit the truth and get down to the truth and do that deep self-evaluation. You will find some people on that team who are very open and very willing to acknowledge if they dropped the ball, to acknowledge what went wrong, to take full responsibility for it, to not mince words about it, to not blame other people or make excuses or whatever. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you will see individuals on each team very often who are in total denial, who have absolutely no commitment to acknowledging the truth, who are unwilling or unable to tell the truth about themselves and their own performance during that week's challenge. And then you'll find people all the way in between, different places in between, with more or less openness to telling the truth. But what you will never see, and this is what's interesting, what you will never see is any wavering in the commitment or the intention from the 2 or 3 business executives who are helping to conduct that root cause analysis. They are always committed to getting to the truth, whatever that takes. And that's what we need to take away from the Apprentice TV show and from doing our own root cause analyses whenever we experience stress. We have to have that same level of unwavering, excusing, not blaming, just telling the truth about what really happened. And when it comes to our own stress problems in life and difficulties in life, it's telling the truth about how we are contributing to our stress, whether we recognize it or not, we are. And doing our own root cause analysis is doing our own self-evaluation of how our thoughts, how our attitudes, how our opinions, how the things that we've been taught to believe, how the habits that we have, the behaviors that have been instilled into us, the things we don't see, the things we don't understand, are all contributing to the stressful problems we have in our life. And if you can't do a deep root cause analysis on every single stressful problem that you have, and if you can't tell the truth in a very deep way, whenever you do that, you will never be able to master this game that I'm talking about, which is the game of mastering stress and eliminating stress, which has absolutely nothing to do with managing just the symptoms of stress alone. If you want to get really good at eliminating stress and mastering stress, all you got to do is mimic the Apprentice TV show. And I know that will come as a surprise to many people, and it will be an astonishing statement to many people. But it's absolutely 100% true. If you look at those shows and you look at them through the filters that I've been laying out here, the principles that I've been teasing out here that get demonstrated in that show, you will see exactly what it takes to become a master of stress. And that's why I created this series this week, and we'll finish it up tomorrow with one final insight that we can gain from watching The Apprentice and translate that into our ability to master stress, eliminate stress, and live our lives with as little stress as possible. See you tomorrow.